Rolling? All right. All right, my name is Rich Schmidt. I'm here at Iris Vineyards with Aaron Lieberman. It's June 13th, 2019. Thanks so much for joining us today, Aaron.
You're welcome.
So we obviously interview a lot of people, and we talk about Pinot Noir an awful lot. One of the questions I like to ask winemakers especially is, what is it about Pinot Noir as a winemaker, and what is it about Pinot Noir as a consumer that is so appealing?
I think that the particular varietal that you use in any given region has to be really well connected to that region, with relative to how it grows and how marginal that varietal is for the climate. So I'm sure you've heard that term. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it anymore, but it's very, very important that the varietal that you're growing in your vineyard ripens at the latest possible moment in the season to get the maximum and best flavor out of that grape. So clearly in the Willamette Valley, we do push the envelope with Pinot Noir in terms of getting it ripe in quite a number of years. There are obviously warmer years, especially when we have an early spring and no frost difficulties, that we do get some earlier ripening years. So say mid to late September instead of the first part of October to the third week of October, say. But that's still pretty late. So if you look at some other regions, they'll start picking in even August, which in my mind is not, it's an indication that you're not really growing the right kind of grape. You need to be growing something that needs more heat so that you're later into the fall.
Makes sense. Interesting.
So that's the first thing I think that's important. I love Oregon. I love being in the Willamette Valley and the rest of the state in general. So I really want to be here, and so I think that given that, it sort of forces me to work with Pinot Noir. And that's not to say that I don't love Pinot Noir. I do. I think it's like I said, it's a grape that has a lot of things that you can do with it. So it's very versatile. You can make sparkling with it. You can make rosé. You can make white Pinot Noir, so on and so forth. So I like that about it. And it's also a very food-friendly wine generally. It's not too heavy. It's typically, and I think it should be, an acid-driven wine, which is another aspect of a wine that makes it work well with food, and I love that about it.
What would you say your biggest challenge is as a winemaker?
Gosh, I think with winemaking, there's a lot of different things that you have to know about and that you have to do well. So that in and of itself is a challenge, just kind of being a jack of all trades and having to understand a lot of things, from janitorial things to marketing and sales and being a good interviewee and not saying too much, for example. I know I'm not the greatest at that. But on top of that, I think one of the greatest challenges that this industry in Oregon is facing right now, and not just Oregon, but other places too, is that we're looking at labor shortages a lot, particularly in the vineyard, and that's going to be an ongoing problem, I think. And it's hard work. and a lot of people don't want to do it. So we're constantly kind of fighting that, particularly at harvest, to get the grapes in a timely way.
Sure.
So that's a perennial challenge.
Sure. You mentioned kind of all the jack of all trades you have to be a winemaker. What's your favorite part, either of the job or of the kind of calendar year of being a winemaker?
I think still harvest is my favorite part. I mean, that's where all the action is. You have extra people in the cellar to help, and we bring in international interns, so that's fun. We get that experience. Whether it's a Frenchman or a Spanish person or Italian or Chilean. We've had people from a lot of different countries, mostly other winemaking countries. And so that's fun during harvest. And there's a lot of really solid camaraderie during harvest. Everybody's working hard, and they understand that there's a goal to be achieved in getting all the fruit in and processed in a timely way so that we can make the best wine possible out of it.
Sure. So one of the things that Iris talks about on his website is the concept of aréte. So tell me what aréte means to Iris, and tell me what it means to you.
So broadly speaking, it's the concept is that of consistently striving for perfection, while also recognizing that perfection is kind of unachievable. You can only strive for it. So to me, that's the basic concept. It's coincidentally a philosophy that I've always held personally, is to always try to do better and try to do more, and to not only in terms of a product I might be putting out, but also for my person, just to be a better person.
So, if, as a consumer of Iris, how would aréte be reflected in what I'm either consuming or the way I'm treated here at Iris Vineyards?
Yeah, well, I think we do have a really great tasting room staff, and I think that they really understand the sales side of it, but they also understand the experience side of it, and making sure that the people who come up here have a good experience, and not that they don't leave here feeling like they've just been pushed to buy wine or pushed to taste another wine or whatever. That they leave here feeling like it was something that was really enjoyable and something that they're going to want to come back and do again.
Sure.
What was the second part of the question?
In the product itself.
In the product itself. So, yeah, we genuinely do strive to improve every year. And while clearly there's vintage variation, and there's some things that are beyond our control because we're working with a natural product that's coming from a farm, there's sometimes where in any given year maybe our wine isn't better than it was the previous year because of things that are out of our control.
Sure.
But I try to educate myself continually, and I attend seminars and symposia to do that. I also have 2 really talented people working under me in the cellar now, and I believe they both buy into that aréte philosophy, and we do consistently talk about what things can we do this vintage that we didn't do in previous vintages that will contribute to better wine quality. So it's a genuine push in the cellar and I think in the vineyard and tasting room as well, to do things better.
Noble goal, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that our tasting room visitors and our club members see that in the product, and I believe that we provide better wine every year. Maybe not all of our wines, but some of them are going to be better than they were last year.
Sure.
And the other ones will be just as good.
So tell me about, I just lost my train of thought. What was I going to ask you? Oh, so you've been in the industry a while, and you've seen you've been in a lot of different places. So tell me about what you've seen change, in addition to just pure size, the size of the industry. What else has changed about Oregon wine since you became a part of it?
Yes, just in the last, 10 years, really. A lot of money has come in from out of state, and new wineries have been developed, and new vineyards have been developed with out of state money. And that's really different. I think you could argue either side of that, whether it's positive or negative. I like to think about things in positive terms. I think that money is, and those new wineries and new vineyards are going to be overall good for the industry. And along with that new development, we have some new voices in the industry and some new ideas. So I think that's a positive development for us. And it's the biggest, to me, it's the biggest change that's happened in the last 10 years.
So as you look forward then to the next 10 years, what do you see Oregon wine looking like as you look down the road?
What I'd like to see is better communication within the industry, more working together to do a number of things, but what really pops into my mind right now is that we need more consistency of style and of quality, and I think that those things can come from more wineries being members of things like Oregon Wine Board and the Willamette Valley Winery Association, and also from programs like at Chemeketa and at Umpqua Community College and Oregon State and Linfield and Southern Oregon State, where through those university programs there's some outreach and some particularly dissemination of scientific knowledge about what we need to do to make the best quality wines here in Oregon.
Sure. And
not just Willamette Valley, but Umpqua, Rogue, Walla Walla, Columbia Gorge, all of it.
Sure.
So I think if we can figure out how to achieve that, so where consistency of quality is higher and gets better with time, that we can maintain our position that we've fought hard for as one of the fastest growing wine regions in the world in terms of value of products sold. And not just volume.
Quality too.
Yeah.
So what about as you look into the future for yourself, where do you see your future path as you look forward, say again, 10 years?
Hard to say. I mean, you sort of have to take it as it comes. And I like what's happening at Iris now, and I think that we're going to do some great things here.
What do you see for Iris then? Is there anything on the kind of on the agenda that you're excited about?
Yeah, so we are right now we're making between 10 and 15,000 cases a year. I want to say we're selling about 30% direct to consumer. That's a figure that we would like to maintain, but at the same time we do want to grow our production to about double what we're doing now. And there are a number of reasons for that, which I won't get into. But that's going to be, it's going to be exciting and at the same time challenging to maintain that direct to consumer percentage while doubling volume. But we have some really solid plans, I think, to make that happen. We've been talking about building a new tasting room on this property that has more capacity, and that's going to be a big factor in whether we achieve that goal or not.
Sure.
And that'll be exciting. We're also doing, when you drove in, I'm sure you saw the logging operations that are going on. And that's all about new vineyard ground. So we have plans to plant at least an additional 25 acres over the next probably 5-6 years. Excuse me.
Cool.
And that's exciting. And it's going to be a lot of Pinot Gris. We have right now 9 acres of Pinot Gris, and we're currently producing enough Pinot Gris that we could use all the grapes from 20 acres. And I think our plans are to plant, say, 12 to 15 more acres of Gris, and then the balance of the land that we have would be Pinot Noir, and we do have a sparkling wine program, so we're actually planting Pinot Meunier and Pinot Blanc to add into that program.
Oh, cool. Meunier's kind of making a comeback. That's kind of cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
So Pinot Gris, I know obviously you guys are close down the road from King Estate, and they're pretty known for Pinot Gris. So is there something special about the Pinot Gris in this part of the state?
It really feels that way to me. I think there is something special about the for lack of a better word, the terroir that we have here. So the combination of the soils and the microclimate that lead to how that grape comes out, how it ripens, and how it tastes when it's made into wine. I've tasted a lot of Pinot Gris from around the Willamette Valley, and a lot of them are very good. I just think that the Pinot Gris from here is unique, and in my eyes, it's better.
Sure. So obviously, as you mentioned, Linfield is one of the schools that's now doing wine. We have a wine studies program, a couple wine studies majors here watching your interview. So what advice would you have for someone who wanted to enter the Oregon wine industry today?
It would depend on the person that I'm talking to. I think there are a lot of facets to the industry. There's everything from the production side, so actually making the wine, to selling it, to wine marketing is unique, and there's all of the different sciences that go into wine production, from viticulture to enology and all the sub fields that are involved in that, chemistry, microbiology, and all those things. So it would really depend on what interests the particular person already has, or kind of what their thinking is about the side of the industry that they would like to be on.
Sure. But you'd encourage them to join?
Yeah, I would. It's exciting. It's fun. The people generally in the industry are fun people. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything else.
Well, excellent. Well, that's all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything else I should have asked? Anything else you'd like to talk about here at the end that didn't come up?
I think you covered it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your answers, and we'll go ahead and let you off the hook.
Sure.